This is Charlie Miller, and you're listening to the Random Variety Show podcast, episode number...
Do or Two. Hey everybody, thanks for listening to the Random Variety Show podcast, or as I like to call it, the RVSP. Remember, there's no need to RSVP for the RVSP. Yes, without people like you listening, I wouldn't be here doing it. Well, I guess I would, but I wouldn't be doing it for anybody but me, and that gets kind of boring after a while. So this episode, we got a jam-packed episode. I do another random rambling about some stuff. I'll fill you in a little bit more on the production of Awake and Sing and where we are right now. And, of course, the interview with Groucho Marx. This week, we have our guest, Daniel Sky. He is an actor from Awake and Sing, and he'll talk a little bit more about that. He's also a musician. We'll hear a little piece of music from him. Like I said, it's a really exciting show. But before we go on, I need some transitional music, so why don't you bring that in? That's perfect. Excellent. Okay, so this random rambling, I was out running some errands, and I ran into a convenience store to quickly pick up something, and this happened. So, take it away, my alternate me. Hey, it's me. I'm running some errands on this particular day, and I just ran into a convenience store. I'm not going to name names. I'm not prejudiced, nor have anything against it, nor am I loyal to anything. I go where I need to go. But I walked in, and I brought my item to the counter, and as I was at the counter, now, the item I purchased was an adult beverage for those over 21. Now, I'm going to be 40 this year. So, I've got no problem with saying I'm going to be 40 this year, and I'm not clinging on to 39. Now, to give people an idea of what I currently look like, I have a bit of a goatee. There's a little bit of gray in it. Right now, it's been approximately 36 hours since I last shaved. So I've got a little bit of growth. It's not a thick beard. It's not a thin beard. It shows within about 48 hours. And I'm wearing a ball cap, my glasses, and a Hawaiian shirt. And my head hair is longer, pulled back into a ponytail under the ball cap. And just some blue jeans and a tennis shirt. Tennis shirt? Tennis shoes. And I bring up my adult beverage to the counter. Now, it's pretty obvious to most people that I am at least over 21. However, the customer service representative of this particular facility asked to see my ID. All right, that's cool. I can understand that. Felt a little honored because, I'm going to be 40 and he needs to card me. I think the rule here in California is if you look under 30, now, it may have changed, but nonetheless, he carded me. So it was actually a nice feeling. I haven't been carded in a long time, or regularly at all. And then as I was showing him my ID, then handing over the money to make the transaction, I took a glance at his name tag. And his name tag, when I first looked at it, thought his name was Mo, M-O. Well, then I looked at it again, and discovered that his name was Moo. So I can honestly and sincerely say, I have been ID'd by Moo. Yes, ID'd by Moo. And Moo was he's probably about my age, maybe a little bit older, probably closer to 50. He's obviously speaks English as a second language. He's of ethnicity, I'm not going to get into it. It doesn't really matter. I just found it interesting that this gentleman chose to go, or at least have on his name tag, the name Moo. M-O-O, Moo. And as I was standing there, I had to hold back my laughter because my mind started to drift back to that one episode of a wonderful TV show, Friends, and Joey's character, Joey Tribbiani, a wonderful character portrayed by, I believe it's Matt LeBlanc. If not, it's one of the Matts, I know that. And he was confused with the word moot, M-O-O-T, and, oh, it's just moo. It's a moo point. And they kept coming back to that, and so my mind kept thinking, oh, it's a moo point. Hey, moo, point. And so, as you can imagine, as I was leaving, the laughter in my brain started to come out my mouth, and I started to chuckle. And as I left, the people that were pumping gas at this facility kind of looked over their shoulder and like, what's he laughing at? Luckily, I have my telephone earpiece in my ear, so it looks like I might be on the phone. But I was really laughing at moo. It's a moo point.
A moo point. Yes, a cow's opinion in the world of Joey Tribbiani from the wonderful TV show Friends. And I was right, it was Matt LeBlanc. I just didn't know it at the time when I was driving around. So, now, let me tell you a little bit about the production process here of Awake and Sing. Over the last 2 weeks, we've put together the set, we've painted the base colors of the set, we have found probably 60% of the props, and we are moving forward. I know the last suspenseful thing I said about the show was we had lost the actor Michael Bova for the role of Uncle Morty. Well, another actually TV actor has stepped in, Fred Gaines Jr. He stepped in because he auditioned for the role, and I called him, and he was available. It was wonderful. And he's actually been on All My Children as a hospital board member last year, 2011. I don't know the episode number offhand, but it was 2011 last year. So if you're a fan of All My Children, you might recognize him or his face if you happen to come see it or see any publicity photos or anything like that. And he has... First, he missed about 2 weeks of the rehearsal process, and that was no fault of his own. And so he's been playing catch-up, and he has been doing a fantastic job. He is a 100% professional trooper, and I'm so grateful to have him step in as Uncle Morty. He's really bringing it to life, and in a different way than Michael Bova would have, and they both would have been very interesting. So it's one of those things, I wonder what if, and I'm so glad that Fred has stepped in here. Okay, well now we're going to come up to the Groucho segment here, the Groucho interview. This week is with Daniel Sky, and, well, Daniel is a dear friend of mine. He, like I said, he's in the show. He plays Mo Axelrod, and he's a dear friend of mine. He was my best man at my wedding. I've known this gentleman since late 1992. He is just a consummate gentleman. He's a sweetheart of a man, and I'm so grateful that he gave me the time to be on the podcast. So without any further ado, I give you your favorite disembodied voice of the internet, the one, the only, Groucho.
Thank you, Charlie, for sending it on over today. Today I have actually, this gentleman was sent to me by you. He says he's a longtime friend of yours. This is Daniel Sky. Hello, Daniel. Welcome to the section with me here on the Random Variety Show podcast. How are you today?
I'm fine, Groucho. Thank you very much.
Oh, I thank you for being here. So, you're a longtime friend with Charlie. First, I have to ask you why.
Just because he's somebody who helped me along when I was just beginning. So, he's a good guy. He's a really good guy.
Well, actually, I agree. He is a good guy. He's given me the opportunity here to come back after 35 years and reclaim those years away from NBC after they canceled You Bet Your Life. Yeah, it's a wonderful thing. I appreciate him, too. And I'm glad to see that it actually extends past the internet. So, tell us a little bit about who you are and how you and Charlie became friends, and what's the common link and interest between the two of you there?
Well, it started out in drama, actually.
Yes, he told me he was an actor.
Yeah, he's an actor, and I was really into acting myself in junior high school, and when they had junior high school, and high school, and when I got out of high school, was interested in some stage and went to school, and that's one of the colleges I met Charlie there, and we ended up being in Peter Pan together, and he played Peter Pan, and I had the flowing hair and the goatee, and had the Captain Hook look. And
yes.
yeah.
I do remember Charlie talking a little bit about Peter Pan. So you are the infamous Captain Hook.
Yeah. It's a split personality. Mr. Darling, too.
Oh, yes, that's right. It's a wonderful show. It's a wonderful show. And so you did that back in school. So he played Peter Pan to your Captain Hook. That must have been an adventure.
It was. It was a true adventure. And, you know, it's something that's ingrained in my soul. From that point on, that Charlie was, he's been a part of my life, and definitely a person to look up to.
Wow, that's wonderful. Since Peter Pan played such a pivotal role in the time between you and Charlie, do you have a favorite story or a favorite memory from that production that you want to share?
Well, it really doesn't have anything to do with Charlie, but we were so intense in rehearsals, and we actually formed a hook from real metal, and during one of the rehearsals, I didn't realize to keep the hook up, and I brought the hook down, and as one of the other cast members was running around me, bounced right into the hook as I turned and broke his nose.
Oh, that sounds like a very painful experience.
Yeah, I think I felt sick for a week too. I'm not a violent person, you know, and hurting somebody to that extreme was difficult, but you know, the guy was a really good trooper, and you know, had no hard feelings towards me. So
well, that's good. He realized it was an accident.
Yeah.
That's good. It takes a big person to realize that.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I'll bet that memory stays with you. Hurting somebody in the production? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. So that sounds like a fun, kind of painful memory. Was there anything that has stuck with you through the years? When was that, by the way?
I believe in 92, 93. 93.
93. Wow, that's quite a few years ago. So, yeah, your memory's stretching there. So that's how. So as I said, that bopping somebody in the nose is a painful memory, but semi-joyous because of what it's kept with you for the last few years. What about? Are there any experiences that you carried away from that and that you kind of wish you just didn't have? Or was it just one of those productions that was just wonderful all around?
It was terrific. I grew emotionally and strong in the knowledge I can audition for something, and ended up making other shows because of that experience. So,
well, that's really fantastic.
I don't see anything bad about it at all.
Well, Charlie has talked to me a little bit about that in our first interview, how the productions he has done, and Peter Pan was high up on his list. I know he holds it in high regard as well.
Yeah.
And he does remember that bopping put somebody in the nose, but since it wasn't him, he doesn't remember it that well. What he remembered was the sword fighting. He went on about the sword fighting, and now he told me there was two versions of Captain Hook. Was there two of you playing Captain Hook?
Yes, we took turns.
That's what he meant then.
Yeah,
because he said one of the Captain Hooks was just not a fair player during the sword fighting.
Well, it wasn't me.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. So it was the other guy.
Yeah.
Well, everybody does anything. It sounds like the only things besides any hurt feelings would have been the broken nose.
Yeah.
That's not so bad. So tell us, do you have any special abilities or talents or anything that is fun and unique about you?
Jeez, I've when I was 10 years old, my stepdad showed me how to play a C chord on a guitar, and you know, he said that the guitar was one of the easier instruments to play because you can take it anywhere. You know, it's hard to go to the beach and pull a piano out of your backpack. So, you know, I took off with the C chord and learned to play guitar since I was 10 years old.
Wow.
Did a little bit of mime and clowning through elementary school, high school, up to high school, and not very much, but a little bit of magic.
Ah, a little bit of the magic bug hooked you, huh?
Yeah, a little bit of the prestidigitation.
Prestidigitation, that's a 25-cent word. I'm glad you had a chance to use it.
Thank you. I
You're
was
welcome.
looking for a way to use it.
Well, yeah, I try to use 25-cent words, but usually I get 15 cents change.
Yeah.
But there's... So you play the guitar.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't see that you brought it with you today. At least I don't hear it around here.
No.
So, some point you're going to have to send in a clip so Charlie can play it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Absolutely. We'd love to highlight you on the podcast here.
Sure.
I know he would, because he's got to get this off the ground somehow.
I will do that, Groucho.
Fantastic. Just send it on over to him, and he'll take care of the rest. So you play the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have a favorite song? Whether it's something you've written or something you do a cover of, or is there a favorite artist or musician specifically that you enjoy?
I enjoy all kinds of music, but I grew up on Neil Diamond and Roy Orbison, so those are kind of the basis of my vocal ranges and guitar playing. A quick story about Neil Diamond is my grandmother was in the hospital. Cancer was eating through her spine, and so I had made a connection to my grandmother through Neil Diamond's music. She gave me one of his albums. And
do you happen to remember the album?
Hot August Night.
Hot August Night. I've heard that.
So I ended up writing to one of his management companies and trying to get a hold of him to, send a letter, make a call. I gave him addresses and phone numbers to hospitals and their house and all kinds of stuff. And a few weeks later, when she returned home and was trying to recoup from exploratory and all that stuff, she got a letter in the mail, and it had an 8x10 black and white glossy, and it said, "Best wishes to Alfreda Barr, love, Neil Diamond." And from that point on, my admiration for the guy just grew.
And I don't blame you at all. Something like that, absolutely. For him to take the time out to specifically give it to somebody specifically, not just a facility or a ward or a recuperation, what's the word I'm looking for, those facilities where people go to recuperate and they need to live there for 6 months, 8 months, whatever it may be. That's very admirable of him. I don't blame you for liking him and admiring him.
So I sing some Neil Diamond songs, and then
can you give us a couple chords of one of your favorite Neil Diamond songs? Just sing a little bit a cappella. We don't really care.
All right.
Give us a teaser.
A little teaser, huh? All right. Hello again. Hello.
Hello.
Just called to say hello. I think about you every night, and I know it's late, but I couldn't wait. Hello.
Well, that was fabulous. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, you're definitely going to have to send something in. We're going to have to get you on the show for at least a musical interlude.
All right. Well, I in my quite a few years of on and off playing, I did get inspired every now and then, and I do have a couple of songs I've written. So,
those are going to be the ones we definitely want to hear.
I'll get you a song called "Be Like a Child."
Be Like a Child. All right. Well, make sure that you get it over to Charlie, and we'll get that either on this episode or another one for sure.
Sure.
Absolutely. So, we know that you're a musician, and I'm excited to hear more about that. And you're an actor, which brought you and Charlie together. And, let's be honest, the reason that you're sitting here today talking with me is because you're in that production of Awake and Sing that Charlie happens to be directing. So, we had the actor Clayton Gage on last episode, or one of the other episodes, depending on when this will air. And he plays the character of Ralph Berger, which for this particular show is the protagonist, which is always an interesting thing to watch the story evolve and change through one specific character. So which character are you playing in this?
In this, I portray an actor. I
portray
portray
an
an
actor.
actor. Yeah, I act like I know what I'm doing.
Well, don't we all?
I portray a gentleman by the name of Mo Axelrod. He is a World War I vet who got his leg shot off in the war a day before armistice.
Oh, that's a bum deal. That's definitely a bum deal.
To say the least.
Absolutely. So you play Mo Axelrod, and now, obviously with the last name Axelrod, he's not part of the Berger family. How does he, tell us how you see him fitting into the rest of the characters there?
He's a family friend that grew up with the Bergers. And, he's got some love interest in the family to the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Berger. Henny.
Ah, yes, Henny. That would be Ralph's sister.
Correct.
Yeah, we talked about her in the last episode briefly as well, and that's played by Roxanne Reed, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. So you're pining for Henny.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. So, well, I don't want to give away any of the show, but let me ask you this: out of discovering your character, what would have been the most challenging thing that you had to discover or you had to dive into? What's been the hardest part of finding Mo within Dan?
That's a really deep question there.
Well, not as deep as the well, but we'll go there later.
All right. I think internally, trying to tap into a frustration and an anger that's just kind of underlying within Mo that seems to want to come out, but he needs to harbor it for a little bit because he doesn't want to hurt anybody, but he doesn't want to get too wrapped up in the drama around him. But there's a lot that's going on. Many different layers between the anger and frustration of losing his leg, not really being a whole kind of guy, and yet having the strength to continue on and just be a human being.
That is very deep. Yes, there are a lot of layers to that show, Awake and Sing.
Oh, yeah.
And I know in my conversations with Charley, he was talking about the different layers, and also in different clips on the podcast here, he's mentioned certain challenges that have approached him and that he's breached. So I can definitely see the challenge and frustration. So finding the darkness of the character has been the hard part. Well, of course it's going to be the hard part. Anytime you have to look at the darkness of a character, it's very challenging, and that's one of the reasons I never played a dark character.
Yeah.
Well, I played God in Skidoo, and that's well, we won't even go there. I shouldn't have done it, I'll say that much. I'll just leave it at that, and we'll let it go.
Yeah, well, you don't have to worry about that anymore, do you?
Well, not really. I'm just a disembodied voice floating around the internet.
Yeah, I wish I could see it.
Well, someday maybe. We'll have to see. If Charley ever gets a video podcast going, then we just might have something there.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, what has been some of the happier things that you've discovered within Mo? And now I know the show's a drama, and it's a heavy, could be conceived as a political play because of the political statements it made back in 1935 when they first put it on. But there's got to be also some joy in finding some parts of the character because everybody's three-dimensional. There's not only one or two things. What has been the joy for you in discovering Mo?
The joy in discovering Mo. It's... This character is... We'll put it this way. It's been 12 years since I've been on stage.
Has it really been that long?
Yeah, it's been... I've been on a hiatus having kids and all that. And,
well, that's understandable.
Life takes over for a little while, but to... have the availability and be blessed with the opportunity to return to the stage, and with such a deep, rich show as Awake and Sing, there is just and the talent that's surrounding the show is immense and amazing, and feeding off the energies of the other people as well, and learning, just learning from them is this is more than I could fathom ever being back on stage again, and with being Mo Axelrod. I just, all I can say is I am very grateful, and I'm speechless.
Well, yeah, I can tell. So you'd say that the joy of the show is actually doing the show.
There you go.
It's not just discovering certain things of Mo, but it's the doing the production itself, start to finish.
There you go. I always liked entertaining, and I don't want to be the center of attention. I don't want to be, being the star. I love the fact that it's an ensemble piece. Everybody's got a piece of the pie to make the whole pie, and to be up there again it's like French words.
To quote Clifford Odets in the show.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's well, it is definitely a joy on the process. We've all had our own shares with things, but doing the show is actually is definitely a joy. I can tell that because of how you're describing it. And that's where I came up with that answer. Is not just finding Mo, but it's the process the entire time. And I can tell you really have a lot of respect for your other actors just by the pause you gave in saying, I don't remember your exact words, but just describing the talent that you're working with.
Oh, definitely. These, it's like I said, I don't ever want to think that I'm a prima donna or anything. It's not. That's not me. That's not me.
And I don't get that sense from you either.
No, thank you. I just am happy to be on stage again, and I hope that this is the beginning of more to come.
Well, if you approach it with that sort of energy and that sort of passion, I absolutely think it will be. Absolutely.
Thank you, Groucho.
Absolutely. So now, being that this is a drama, and you say that you like to entertain people, I'm going to guess that dramas are not really up your alley for things that you like to do and that you pursue.
This is the first real heavy hitter that I've ever undertaken, and I hope that it doesn't end up where an undertaker takes me. But no, there was one show that I did at the same college where we did Peter Pan, where I portrayed Dr. Treves in The Elephant Man, and that was
that's a heavy piece.
Yeah, that was my first experience with a heavy piece, and we took a lot of time in trying to do it. And there's some things that I knowing now, I could have attempted to do more than what I did then, but it was what it was, and it was a stepping stone, and it took me to different places. And I'm hoping with Awake and Sing that this will lay the foundation to a stronger building.
Well, I think so. As an actor, anyone doing this particular show, Awake and Sing, as we've discussed and as Charley's mentioned, it's a show full of layers. These are definitely an ensemble piece. These are real people that you're watching live and exist in their home. And it's always a challenge to show reality, especially in this day and age when nothing but reality television is what's out there. You've got all those contest shows, so you think you can dance and you want to be a rock star and all those. And let's face it, they're entertaining for about 5 minutes. but you're not really going to want to watch a rerun of that show in, say, 10 or 20 years. Maybe the specific clips of people who've had that longevity, you know, go back and watch them back in time, because we've always loved to do that. However, the standard, let's watch the entire show, I doubt you're going to be able to do a rerun of the entire episode, because nobody's really going to care about anybody that was on there except for the winner. And so with reality television implanting that style of entertainment for us today, reality theater, I find, would be even more of a challenge.
I agree, and also the fact that there's no commercial breaks.
That's very true, very true. Commercial breaks are always ones that interrupt them.
In live theater, yeah, there's no commercial breaks. And also, you know, from night to night, the dynamics may change a little bit according to the energy given off by the audience.
Absolutely. I could tell you stories that would spin your head with all the shows we did on vaudeville. All the different times. We would change things just to keep it entertaining to us. And then also Chico would try to fool some practical jokes. Hopper was always pulling practical jokes in the nice way. I was doing my share with Margaret Dumont in the nice way, I mean. And we were practical jokesters. That was our whole premise back then. But that was a different world. That was back at the turn of the century, or shortly thereafter in the teens and the 20s. Just before we really got our start with I'll Say She Is, followed by Coconuts, and then Animal Crackers. And it wasn't until those three shows that we were actually just bits on stage. All three shows, the first three shows were those, and that's where they actually had stories and through lines and characters that you could follow, and it wasn't just the zany Marx brothers doing crazy things. It was, but there was a little more sophistication. And then as we moved to Hollywood, they became a little crazier, and that was a whole different story with the studios and writers and all that. But it was a dawning age. Who knew that movies were going to be what they are today?
Yeah.
We had just got the talkies back then. So yeah, entertainment has taken quite a change, and I think one of the things I like about the fact that we're talking about and you guys are working on Awake and Sing is it's a show that's lasted for about 80 years now.
Yeah.
Because it was first done in 35,
right.
And we're in 2012 now,
yeah.
So it's creeping up on that 80-year mark.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's still entertaining and that it's still being produced, that says a lot.
It does say a lot, and I am also kind of happy to be part of something that's historic and groundbreaking of its time, and to bring it to audiences in 2012. It's going to be a roller coaster ride.
Well, the show itself is a roller coaster ride of emotions with the way everything plays itself, and as long as it all follows through, it's an absolute adventure ride for that audience that night, whichever night they happen to see it.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Well, that is fantastic. Did you have anything else that you'd like to add before we get into our little ending here with those Bernard Pivot questions that I like to do so often and frequently?
I'm grateful to be a part of this podcast, and I wish I could see you, but it's nice talking with you, and
well, that's the magic of the internet, Daniel. It's all about the audio here. Well, the Pivot questions, for those listeners who haven't had a chance to catch up on our episodes, I've decided to end my interview segments with the very famous Bernard Pivot questions. Most of American audiences are going to recognize it from Inside the Actors Studio with James Lipton. Yeah, those questions, Daniel. So, there's 10 questions. Take your time. No hurry, because Charley's going to edit out the dead space. And the first one is, what is your favorite word?
My favorite word. My favorite word, it's two of them.
That's fine.
Go easy.
Go easy. That's a nice phrase. I like that. Followed by the next question, which is, what is your least favorite word?
My least favorite word, lazy.
Lazy. Third question is, what turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Music.
And the next question is, what turns you off creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Anger.
And what is your favorite curse word? What sound or noise do you love?
The sound of a well-tuned guitar.
I bet you would love that. And then what sound or noise do you hate?
I'd say people laying on the horn just a little too much if there's caught in traffic.
Yes, I think I understand that sound.
Yeah.
I think my brother Hopper would be the only person that would like a horn. The next question, what profession, other than your own, would you like to attempt?
Ooh. Owning my own restaurant.
And what profession would you not like to do?
Drain outhouses.
I wouldn't want to do that either. And lastly, one of the most popular questions, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Dan, you done good.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you very much, Daniel, for being on the show. Go to your DeSoto Plymouth dealer and tell him Groucho sent you. Well, I know Charlie's going to give me some flack about that. I've got to figure out a better ending. But for now, I think I'm just going to say thank you very much for joining me on my segment on the podcast, and we're going to send it off to Charlie.
Thank you very much, Groucho. You have a pleasant evening.
And you as well.
Thank you.
Well, that was Daniel Sky and Groucho Marx. Thank you both so much for putting that together. Sorry about the poor audio quality there, folks. I tried to tweak it as much as I could. I guess it was the connection or whatever it was out there. Sorry about that. I didn't find it too annoying, and I hope you didn't either. So, as promised, Groucho got in contact with me. He said, you must record Daniel Sky. So I have, and this is Be Like a Child by Daniel Sky.
Be like a child dedicated to my children, Katya and Quentin. Be like a child. Look up with wonder into the light. Be like a child and say your prayers every night. Say your prayers every night. When you look into the eyes of a child, what do you see? There's love and innocence that grow in you and me. Love and innocence that grow unconditionally. Feel like a child. Savor those moments, they'll go by fast. Feel like a child. To live for the future, remember your past and learn, oh learn. When you look into the eyes of a child, what do you see? There's love and innocence that grow in you and me. Yeah, love and innocence that grow unconditionally. Feel like a child. Look up with wonder into the light. See like a child. And watch different colors dance day and night. For they will amuse you. They will confuse you. But it's alright to feel like a child. child, to play like a child. So be like a child, yeah, yeah, be like a child.
Be Like a Child by Daniel Sky. Hey, thanks again, Dan. I really appreciate you giving so much to the podcast. Probably a little bit more than you realize. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Wait, what's that? Could that be new music have we never heard before? That's right, new music, everyone. This is the listener feedback music. Yes, this is the area where you guys get a chance to be said on the show. Send in your feedback, and this is where I'll give it back. So, first off, I'd like to say thank you so much, KZOM Radio. You retweet our stuff all the time, and you comment on it. I really appreciate it. Thanks for getting the name out of the Random Variety Show podcast. I'd also like to personally thank Denise, Diane, Verley, Desi, for listening and commenting on the show. I really appreciate the actual listener feedback, so I'm very excited to have that. Thank you so much for listening. And a big special thank you to Mark Hershon and the Succotash podcast. I got a little mention on episode 19 when our show is just in its infancy, and that's totally true. We just started. This is only episode 2 right now. So keep giving that listener feedback. Keep following us on Twitter. Interact with us on Facebook, Google+, all that. So if you want to be interviewed by Groucho, or you have any general feedback, you can write to us at the Random Variety Show Podcast, that's all one word, at gmail.com. Our Twitter is _RVS_podcast. You can subscribe and please rate us on iTunes by searching out the Random Variety Show Podcast. You can circle us on Google+. You can like us on Facebook. And the blog is on Blogspot under Random Variety Show Podcast. Yes. Oh, hey. There's the closing music. I guess it's time to wrap it up. I'd like to thank Daniel Sky for being on the show. Of course, Groucho Marx for all the work you do for us. All you listeners that listen to us, download us, thank you so much. Give us that listener feedback. I really appreciate it. I can't thank you guys enough. So, until next time, this is me saying thank you so much. Good night. Have a wonderful tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Mr. Marx appears courtesy of the chaotic prattle and vibrations of Mr. Mueller's larynx and the marvelous wizardry of the internet.